and welcome to another episode of the KopiBros show presented by Chit Podcast Network. Now, today, we have had the very fun experience of talking to Ritchie Oh. Pet event is actually the open water swimming. Enjoyed talking to him because he was very, very candid with his sharing about his experience, about how he left the sport, how he came back, how he had to train in between NS, and then how a health scare eventually made him step away from the sport. Before we get into our episode, a word from our sponsor. This week's episode of the Chit Chatter is brought to you by our friends at CityMusic, your one-stop shop for all things music and podcast related right here in Singapore. Whether you're picking out your first instrument, upgrading your setup, or starting a podcast, CityMusic has you covered. From guitars, keyboards and amps, microphones and full podcast setups, cameras, lighting and streaming gear, everything you need to create, record and perform at the highest level is all in one place. They also carry a wide range of microphones for every budget. Some of us at the Chit Chatter even use the Zoom ZDM1, a solid podcast mic that delivers great quality at nearly half the price of many popular options. If you're looking to start your own music or podcast journey, be sure to check out CityMusic's website or head down to their store today. A big thanks to our friends at CityMusic for supporting the Chit Chatter. And now, back to the episode. Now, our guest today is an athlete that has represented Singapore at major competitions such as the SEA Games, Asian Games and World Championships, while he races across both open water and pool events that demand serious endurance and versatility. Now, alongside swimming, he is also active in calisthenics, which adds strength, control and discipline to his profile as a well-rounded athlete. To learn more about him, please join me in welcoming Ritchie Oh. Hello, Ritchie.
Hello, thanks for having me.
This sounds a bit weird because you're redoing this after.
I know, it's okay. It's okay.
Before we start, I just wanted to check in with Ritchie. What have you been busy with?
Ever since I ORD'd last year in November, I have been working, doing an internship at an accounting firm, RSM Singapore. That's before I start university in August.
Very, very 乖听话 undergrad. Because like if you like me, every time got a long holiday, just go rest at home. And then after that, spend so long getting my first job because don't have any relevant experience.
That's the challenge, right? So
yeah,
I have to take the first step.
What was your vocation back in army?
I wasn't in army. I was in SPF. I was in police.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
So I did my full 2 years there because I didn't take my pre-enlistment IPPT. So I was in there for 2 years instead of 1 year, 10 months. But my vocation was ProCom, Protective Security Command.
Looking at your calisthenic Instagram, it's very difficult to imagine you not taking IPPT. People like me will skip IPPT because I got belly I hate running this kind of thing. But you don't. Why do you miss IPPT? I mean, 题外话 but why do you miss IPPT?
That was the question that every single person asked me when I first enlisted because I was with the unfit batch. My BNT was 5 months instead of 3 months.
Understand?
Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, but the reason why I didn't take my IPPT was because I woke up and just forgot about it.
Expecting I was like, my training pool in me, I no time to go.
I just plainly forgot.
Then I guess Singapore has to thank you for additional 2 months of service.
I would say so.
Before we begin our interview, I would just like to invite Ritchie to first define for our viewers what is open water swimming, number one, and then what is calisthenics, because these are two things that before I talk to you, I had to do a bit of research.
Open water swimming is extremely long distances for swimming. So, for example, in a pool, there are 50, 100, 200, all the way to 1,005. But in open water, you will swim 1,005 all the way to 10 km or used to be 25 km in the ocean, in the sea, in rivers, basically anything that is not within a pool. And calisthenics is mostly just body weight training. Obviously, you can add weights to it, like your weighted dips or weighted pull-ups, but it's mostly body weight exercises and skills.
Our listeners or viewers want to know what calisthenics is, right? You can just follow Ritchie's Ritchie, I think, _calisthenics account, where besides showing his body, he also show the kind of exercises that he do 不是人做的真的. I don't know how you train until one arm pull up then today 1.5, then become 2 kind of thing. I don't know how you train until your 6 packs, then you can do all the thing. And
fitness for me is it's basically the priority. If I
True.
look good, I will feel good. If I feel good, I'm more confident around other people in a humble way.
Understand. So we normally start our podcast by learning about the origins of our guests, and I would like to take you all the way back to your journey. Could you share with our viewers and our listeners how your journey as an athlete and into swimming first started?
Okay, so my route isn't your typical Singaporean national athlete route. I actually used to live overseas for half of my life. I only came back when I was Sec 1. I used to live in a few countries, first of all, from China to Vietnam, and after that I went to Ukraine. A fun fact, it was rumored that my family was the only Singaporeans in Ukraine at that time. There wasn't even an embassy there. Then after that I moved to Laos, then Myanmar, and then I came back in Sec 1. So when I was studying overseas in international schools, I remember very vividly, I was walking past the lift to go to my class upstairs, and there was this very, very, very big poster saying, "Come join us swim." So I think I was like 7, 8 years old. So that's when I started picking up swimming. I wasn't good. I wasn't good. I was so slow. I was pathetically slow. Like if a world-class coach saw me, they would be like, this kid has no talent because I had no synchronization. But I loved the sport, right? So I just kept going for their weekly sessions, year after year, year after year, and I started getting better. And then I went for my first competition in 2011. So I was 9, I think. And I remember I raced the 25 backstroke. I could only last 25 meters. And yeah, then ever since then, I just started taking it slightly more seriously until I moved to Myanmar. And that's when I really went all in. Even though I was super slow, I was being invited to train with national team of Myanmar. Like the coach was just a really, really nice guy. So shout out to him. So I was in Myanmar for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And then I told my mom that I want to come back to Singapore to take swimming a bit more seriously. Just because there's a better support system, better facilities. But I know the way I say it, right? It sounds like I was being super, super good and I need all this stuff. No, when I was 12, since I was P6, right? I didn't even qualify for the Singapore national age group, which is one of the most basic competitions in Singapore. So I was like, I have to make it when I'm in Sec 1. So I came back to Singapore and I trained in my local club. Yeah, that's basically how I became serious in swimming. And over time, I just got better and better in sports school. Yeah, I started reaching all the games and competitions and so on and so forth.
Okay, then my next question, which I'm very curious, is I don't think any kid will teach you and say I'm into swimming, but I want to swim open water. So when did that transition from backstroke in the pool become open water? I want to do open water in the seas kind.
Okay, so I started off as a backstroker, and fun fact is backstroke now is my weakest stroke. I cannot sprint. My 50 backstroke is slower than the under 14 girls record in Singapore.
Wow. Wow, okay.
I'm so slow for backstroke. But anyway, when I first started taking seriously, I was more of a 200-meter breaststroker. And then I eventually start, diversifying my events. So I started swimming basically everything except backstroke, I can't swim backstroke. Yeah. I ended up excelling at 1005 freestyle, which is 30 laps in a pool. And I basically started improving year after year until 2019. And 2019, I was finally old enough to just try out for the SEA Games open water trials. I had no expectations. I just wanted to go because some of my seniors in sports school were swimming 10 km. So I just wanted to try out. I knew I wouldn't make it because 2 or 3 of the previous SEA Gamers, which were from sports school, were trying out for the trials as well. I wasn't even an underdog. I was just a participant. I've been building up my base pretty well the past few years with my coaches in sports school. And I somehow came first in the trials.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so my hard work paid off. The most painful thing is not the race itself. The 10 km obviously is painful, but it's the trainings leading up to it. It can range from 70 to 90 km a week.
Wow. And I really read in the Straits Times interview that you say that actually compared to some other open water swimmers, you're actually swimming at a lower distance every day because of your NS, right? That was previously, I think, 1 or 2 years ago when I did the Straits Times interview.
I made a comeback in 2025 January. I was still in NS my last full year in NS. I was trying to get back to open water. So it was really difficult because my NS journey was more of a shift work style. It's a 2-on-2 off shift work. So I have to report to base by 7:15, 7:30 a.m. and we will leave base for shift at 9 a.m. So we patrol around Singapore.
Yeah.
Then by the time we come back, we turn our arms, report to our sirs, and leave the base to go home, it's about 10:30 p.m. I stay like 1.5 hours away. So by the time I reach home, it'll be about 12 a.m. And then
Wow.
I'll wake up about 4 a.m. for morning training. Because
Oh.
thankfully my coaches at sports school, they accommodated for me lah. They came in like 1 hour earlier. So I trained at like 4:30, 4:45 until about 6:15. Then I rushed down to base. And the same thing over and over and over again for the next few months.
Wow, this is unimaginable, man. I can't imagine 4 a.m. you wake up for training. This is madness. Wow, piang eh.
And I sleep about 12:30.
Yeah, this is crazy. Okay lah, maybe 你年轻 lah. Now I cannot lah. How does one train for like open water swimming as compared to like just competitive swimming?
The most common misconception about open water swimming, right, is people think that we train in the ocean majority of the time.
Yeah.
But actually, no. It's 99% of the time, maybe 99.9% of the time is done in the pool, right? The only time we ever go and train in the ocean is like when the venue opens up for competition. So like 1 or 2 days before the meet, we go there for familiarization. It's probably the only time we ever swim. Because sometimes some people might think that, oh, what if the waves are not good? You must get used to it. Then we deal with it when we start the race. Because everyone is facing the same thing together.
Like piano players, they will practice on the same piano every day, but it's like maybe 1 or 2 weeks before their concert, they can book the concert venue to go there and test the concert piano and sort of familiarize themselves with the concert piano, and then they'll use it on the concert itself. So the way you describe it to me is a bit like how some of these performers do it.
Exactly like that.
What does a typical week of training, recovery, and study look like for you? Maybe before NS, how does your sports school schedule look like?
During my secondary school days, so we would train at 5:45 a.m. Yeah, we train from 5:45 all the way to 7:30 in the morning. And then I'll go to school. We start class at like 8:30, around there. We have class all the way to about 3 p.m., 3:30 p.m., depending if you have extra classes. And then we come down again to train 4 to 7 p.m. So we train about 10 swim sessions a week with about 3 gym sessions.
Wow.
Yeah. But during my poly years, okay, I was quite fortunate because sports school offered this program called the Through Train program. From Sec 4, we take an in-school paper and we either go to RP Sports Science or Ngee Business. And the good thing about this program is that the lecturers from poly will come down to sports school and teach this very small class. So it's very athlete friendly. My class is literally like 2 floors above the pool. So I don't have to travel up and down for training. Talking about my poly years, we would train a bit longer. A new coach came and then everything shifted a bit. So we trained at like 5:30 all the way to about 8:30 or 9 o'clock. We go for class at 12 all the way to 4. And then we train from 4 all the way to 7:15, 7:30. And we do that every single day. So the only off day we have is Sunday.
This is very similar to when I interviewed Hua Tingwen. She also said that they have to train 10 times a week. And then like Saturday is half day. And then the only time you have to yourself or your family is really Sunday.
That was the life lah. A lot of sacrifices. But for me, I wouldn't really say it's a sacrifice because it's something I love to do, right? So I'm not really sacrificing. I'm just prioritizing.
So does your training change when you prepare like leading up to the competition? Like maybe a few months from the competition?
It really depends what I'm training for. I don't only swim open water, right? I still swim pool events.
Yeah.
I still swim 1,005 all the way down to 200 freestyle. It's like how to say, our trainings go by seasons, and each season there are different blocks of training. At the beginning of the season, you always have to train up your aerobic system. You want to build the base, the foundation. Then after that, you want to fine tune to like threshold stuff. So you're able to hold your lactic acid. Then towards the end, you actually start bringing in like lots of speed. But obviously you're not neglecting everything, you're just combining everything. But for open water, the approach is very different. So because you're training for 10 km, right, which is like 7 times longer than the longest pool event, most of your work is done in the aerobic to threshold area. Like you only start brushing up your speed maybe towards the end. I mean, obviously you will still have speed sessions in between here and there because it's necessary. Just like running lah. You must always add in intervals. It's just a very long painful process because you're just by yourself. You're just by yourself. And even though you may have people swimming with you, it's very different from like someone training 100 free or 200 free. You might be doing like 4 by 50 meters, maybe a few sets. But for 10K, we're doing like, I don't even know, like 15 times 400 on like minimal rest, or we're doing like 6 by 1000s, like all this stuff.
I know you talk about, I think 9 years old where you took part in your first competition, the 25 meters one.
Yeah.
But how about the first like competitive, like maybe represent Singapore one? Do you still remember that first competition?
So my first real major meet was SEA Games 2019. So that was the one I talked about earlier, where I surprised myself and everyone.
No expectations one. Yeah.
Yeah. I was really, really excited. But at the same time, I felt really pressured. Past few Singaporeans have won medals at previous SEA Games, but so I was being pressured to win a medal as well. But other than that, it was just such an exciting feeling to have. Like looking back right now, it was probably the reason why I even kept swimming in the first place. Because it just sparked more hunger in me and more motivation to train even harder and to actually realize that all my hard work will pay off eventually, even though I'm like swimming, I don't even know how many hours a week. At the games itself, even though open water was not in the home village, so I couldn't really experience the real SEA Games, vibe. But just being able to, wear the red blazer, somewhat recognized by the public, it feels really good. Yeah.
Like you previously mentioned, you actually retired from the sport in 2023. I just like to invite you to share with our listeners why that happened.
2023 October was the time I decided to retire from swimming. The first reason was because I was enlisting in a few weeks. The main reason is because I felt like I have done everything I could. There wasn't really anything else for me to chase. I mean, there was only Olympics left. I have gone to basically every possible games that open water swimming has like Asian Games, SEA Games, World Championships, Southeast Asia Open Water Championships. At that point, I wasn't really chasing anything anymore. Once there's nothing to chase, there's no motivation. I didn't retire because of a bad thing. It was more of, I felt accomplished with what I have done. There's nothing more to accomplish. So I quit the sport pretty peacefully.
What was the decisions that made you like decide like halfway through NS, like, with 1 year left, as if the schedule is not hectic enough, I want to train and come back to the sport?
This one got a lot of reasons. So
okay.
When I retired swimming, I obviously did not just completely ignore the pool, right? I mean, I didn't train. Maybe I swim like once every 2 weeks or once a week, nothing more than 1,000 meters a week. So I still competed at the usual competitions, but only 50 meters. 50 meters is it's just very fun. It's just a splash and dash. There's no fear to it. There's no expectations.
Understand.
But after a while, after competing a few competitions, which leads to my next reason, I felt like something part of me is missing. So my whole life is all about swimming. It's basically my identity. Suddenly that being away from me, I felt really empty. I want to come back swimming, but at the same time, I don't know what to do with it. In September, the FINA World Cup was held in Singapore, and I swam the 50 free for fun again. And then I watched all the professional swimmers live by the stands, and it just sparked that passion all over again. And I remember very vividly, like I was thinking, what if I came back and
Swim again
and try open water? Then I was like, open water? Nah, I don't want to train for 10K all over again, right? I emailed my coach saying like, I want to come back. Like, will you allow me to train with you guys again? But I don't want to do open water anymore. I just want to focus on 200 freestyle. I've always had this potential for 200 freestyle, which is quite rare for someone who swims 10K or 1,005. But I felt like I've never unlocked it because I've only focused on long distance events. The last reason is because the 2029 SEA Games was coming up for open water. So I thought maybe now I will not do open water, but maybe down the line I might. The 2026 Asian Games, which is coming up this year, I was gonna try for the 200 freestyle relay. Okay, but it's a bit unrealistic, honestly, but I just had to set my goals out there for my coach. Those were some of the reasons I, talk to myself about. But the funny thing is, with the first 2 months, so January to February, I was training purely for like 200 freestyle. Nothing longer than that. My competition in February, I saw my time after I touched the wall. I was like, there's no way I'm gonna achieve what I say in 1 year. There's no way. Like a few days later, I was back training Then I received an email from the Swim Association. It's basically an invitation to try out for the open water trials in April, right?
Wow.
So I just told my coach, hey coach, why don't we just try lah? 2 months of distance training. I knew it was impossible, like 2 months. Like nobody can train a 10K, let alone a good 10K to qualify top 2 in Singapore. But I said all this like as a joke lah. Deep inside me, I really, really wanted it. I really want to be at that level again. So I trained very, very, very hard. Right? I trained so hard. I was so focused. I trained by myself, by the way, because there's nobody to train with. So I was staring at the black line every single day for hours, hundreds of kilometers. Yeah, I managed to come in second at the trials, which qualified me for the World Championships and SEA Games.
From what I understand, you recently had to take a step away from the pool because of a health scare. So I just wanted to invite you once again to tell us about this roller coaster journey. What was this thing that happened that now you have to take a step back from the pool?
So like I said, right, the trials, I qualified for World Championships and the SEA Games. I was still training, as per usual with NS, leading up to my World Championships. A day before our race, they postponed our race to 1 p.m. instead of 8 a.m. So imagine you're swimming 10 km at Sentosa, the hottest time of the day at 1 p.m. I most likely didn't hydrate properly or something, but the 10 km race has 5 rounds of 2 km. And within the first round, I already felt like something was wrong. I felt like really lightheaded. Like my thighs were already cramping up, which is a very, very bad sign. Like no matter how much they feed us, because every round we pass by the pontoon and we get fed, electrolytes and stuff. But no matter how much I drink, I still felt really faintish and cramping and everything. But I kept pushing, right? Because I don't want to stop. But by the 8 km mark, I was like, I can't do this anymore. And I don't really remember what happened, but I blacked out in the ocean. Like I was conscious, but I blacked out at the same time. Maybe, I don't know, like 20 seconds later, I felt someone pick me up on the boat. And the next thing I know, I was in SGH hospital.
Wow.
So basically I had a really, really bad heat stroke. My bladders were bleeding because I was so severely dehydrated that my bladders were damaged. Yeah, so I was hospitalized for a few days. That was the first episode. I rested for about a week plus, and doctors cleared me to go back training. And maybe 3 or 4 weeks later, I was doing some high-end speed work in training, and my heart rate spiked so much. I literally I fainted. Yeah. Okay, it's not a heart attack. It's called SVT. I had symptoms of heart attack. So my heart rate, because I wore my Apple Watch to swim. I only wore it because like the 1 year I retired, I'm so used to wearing a watch. If not, I won't wear a watch lah. But I had a watch, and it showed 232 heart rate.
Wow, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was pumping so hard. All my limbs were pins and needles. I remember very, very vividly, half of my eye, I couldn't see anything.
Oh my
so I
God,
could only see because I was lying on the floor, I could only see the diving block and like half of my coach. Then I was hyperventilating. And then I was rushed to the hospital again after I was discharged. Like the association said that they would have to pull me out of the SEA Games team lah.
Understand.
And they also said that I'm not allowed to compete unless I have completely cleared all my medical appointments. So at that point, I knew it'd be a very, very long journey. They have dated me all the way to 2027, even 2028.
Wow.
I wasn't going to train 2-3 years for nothing. Right? So that's when I made an extremely tough decision to stop, which was really painful because like when I was interviewed by Straits Times, I put it out there that I said I'll be aiming for a medal.
Correct.
In the upcoming SEA Games.
I saw that, yep.
So I was conflicted because I'll basically be going back on my word. Right? And I'll be extremely embarrassed, especially after putting it out there. But after a while, I was like, what's the point of being embarrassed? Like, nobody's going to care about this in a few months' time, or maybe even in a few weeks' time. So I sat on it for a bit longer, and I was like, I'm just going to stop. I did what I can. Even though I didn't participate at SEA Games, I know I qualified, right? Which was one of my goals.
Yeah.
And knowing that I did everything I could, I was so focused the first half of the year. I honestly, even right now, I have no regret stopping. I have to focus on school, my career. I have to start focusing on my career.
Understand.
I have to put swimming behind me a bit lah.
Do you still have any like medical appointments you need to follow up with?
Yeah, got a few.
I can't say I have something similar to you, But I was also rushed to the hospital about a year back, but it was
Oh,
for chronic. Yeah, I had very, very high blood pressure. So I
oh,
also
that's bad.
underwent tests and everything. So I am
Yeah,
also very, very fortunate to know that it was just simple chronic. It wasn't like I had heart attack. It wasn't because I
yeah.
had some blockage in my arteries or arteries anywhere. So that was
Mm,
when I decided that I need to make a conscious decision to lose weight. So that was
mm,
my story. Yeah, I can't imagine how difficult it was for you because you really train close to your whole life. I would say half of your life because you're very young for something that, like you say, you already put it out there that I'm going to gun for this and you had a legitimate chance of gunning for it. Not by your own fault, it's just your body telling you that I can't do it anymore kind of thing. And
mm.
then, yeah, to me, it's something very difficult to have to say I want to put it down. Yeah.
I took it as a sign also lah, because I had
Yeah.
two heart issues within a month.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I took it as like, a sign to stop.
Ever since that episode, right, you actually pivoted to do calisthenics. I hope I'm pronouncing this right.
Calisthenics.
Yeah, triggered that pivot. Like you wanted to continue staying fit, but you didn't want to be in the pool. So what was this change? Yeah.
Calisthenics is just something that is so fascinating and cool to look at. Only calisthenics athletes will understand certain skills and how difficult it is. For example, like if I'm doing a front lever, we ourselves, we know it's like super difficult to get it. To the ordinary people, like they just think it's like a balancing thing. So the idea of, just challenging ourselves doesn't really matter what people think. You yourself unlocking new skills, improving that 1% every single day is similar to swimming. You're always chasing for something better. But in this case, you're not chasing time. You're chasing progression. First year when I retired back in 2023, I went to the gym quite often, right? But after a while, it got very boring and monotonous because I'm just going there and pushing the same weights every day.
Yeah.
Your only goal is to get bigger. But for calisthenics, you can train for hypertrophy, which is like getting muscle. But at the same time, you're functional. You look cool, unlocking like superhuman skills, like my one-arm pull-up and stuff.
Hearing you describe this like this, right, also made me rethink. Should I quit gym? Because actually for the longest time, right, gym to me is just to lose weight. So now I'm still about 5-6 kg away from my ideal weight, but I feel that okay, this is about done. But I actually wanted to go learn judo because I want to do something more fun, more like can move around kind. But
Yeah.
it's not something that it's like you say lah. Now it's like go gym, right? I don't even think. It's like there's already certain set of exercises I will do. Then I do finish, I'm like, 时间到了，回家，then I'll just like go.
I mean, for me, I don't only do calisthenics. I still go to the gym
Understand.
because I have to train the accessories. But I only go to the gym maybe twice a week.
Understand.
Most of my strength work is done behind me on that bar over there.
I have seen that appear many times in your Instagram.
Oh yes.
and the void deck playground. Not playground, the void deck exercise corner. Yeah.
Yeah, the fitness area.
Yeah, correct. We would like to end with a round of quickfire questions. Okay, so my first question for the quickfire is favorite song to train to?
Nothing.
Huh?
I don't listen to any music. Even when I'm running. Like for example, I'm running like 15 km, 20 km. I run without any music.
Oh, bro, I cannot. I have to have like podcast or something inside. Favorite food after training?
Wow, favorite food. I'm not really a picky eater. Honestly, I eat anything. Yeah,
okay.
I eat anything that I'm craving at that moment.
Understand. Okay. Favorite open water area to train in? Favorite competition place that you have took part in?
I have a favorite place to train. I went for a training camp in Croatia a few years ago.
Wow.
And the ocean there is so clear. I can see the bottom of the ocean.
Wow.
Yeah, so it'll be Zagreb, Croatia.
One common misconception people have about your sport.
People think we just swim a bunch of laps every single session. It's not like that. Daily session is broken down to specific sets tailored for specific needs. It's not just swimming 200 laps non-stop.
Understand. Hardest race you have done?
Fukuoka World Championships in 2023. Because I swam that 10 km with COVID.
What the okay.
Yeah.
Are you even supposed to say, okay, never mind. Biggest lesson you have learned from sport?
Discipline and delayed gratification.
Oh, okay. What keeps you going on a bad day?
There's no point putting yourself down on a bad day because the world still moves.
Yep.
So just continue to stay happy. and just
Okay.
trying to improve yourself every day.
One piece of advice you will give every athlete.
Oh, this is I have a very good one. I came across this quote a few weeks ago. If you knew you only failed 10,000 times, you will be excited to fail every time.
I learned a lot from you today, especially I think you have such a unique experience of the sport, leaving, coming back, and then, having a health setback and whatnot. Before we end off the episode, can you let our audience know where they can find you on social media?
You can follow me on Ritchie_Calisthenics. You can see my progress, some of my accomplishments, and I also offer one-to-one coaching. So if you are interested in improving your fitness, your strength, you need nutritional advice, all this stuff, just hit me up.
Thank you so much, Ritchie, for your time, and really all the best for your future ahead.
Thank you.